Edition of Locked On Astros. We have JC Correa here, Astros catching prospect, to talk to us about his outlook on the 2023 season, what Correa and baseball mean and why they're synonymous with each other, and just what he sees as his goals going into this next year and where he expects to be. So let's talk about this on tonight's Locked On Astros.
Alvarez hits a high drive, center field. Vierling's back. This game is turned upside down. There's the runner. Fly ball down the right field line. Tucker comes on. Kyle Tucker. This time they finish the job.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talks Astros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can they find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. They can find me at Stros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, always Stros.
This episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, official sportsbook of Locked On. Make every moment more. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn today to get started. And we're joined by a very special guest. Yes, that's JC Correa, who is a catcher in Astros farm system. And where can they find you on Twitter and social media?
Yeah, my name is JC Correa, and you can find me, guys, on Twitter, JC_Correa1, and on Instagram, JC_Correa5.
All right, guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen. Whether it's on YouTube, go and keep on subscribing, and go ahead and make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Check us out and listen on your way to work tomorrow. So, we're really excited to have you on the show. Thank you for joining, and we're excited about your future. I know catcher is kind of a area of need for the Houston Astros right now. I know that Martin Maldonado is getting a little bit older out there, and there's definitely an open spot for the backup catcher this year. I know Corey Lee and Yainer Diaz are kind of fighting for that right now, but in the future, the name JC Correa could be up there as well. So how has the transition been to become a catcher?
Well, it started last year. By the end of the season, they called me to the office and they told me, like, hey, JC, you have a great defense on the infield, but your IQ, you're a leader, speak two languages, you can communicate with Latin pitchers and American pitchers well. We would like you to be a catcher. So when I went to Astros, that was my first time catching ever. And then obviously my first month in season was a little hard, especially with the pitch clock and everything. But then I would say late June, July, I started feeling more comfortable. And if you look at my stats from July to September, it was way better. Everything on framing, blocking, throwing people out, like from July to September, it was better. So I know with time, obviously I will get better. And this offseason, I put hard work in. I was blessed to work with Jose Trevino, Yankees catcher. So I feel pretty excited about what I'm going to do this season.
Yeah, you've had the experience to work with some very good catchers, and to get you up to speed really quickly, making the transition to catcher is definitely not easy to do. It's almost like asking a wide receiver or a tight end to become the quarterback for a game. The name Correa and baseball, I think, are tied together forever. We know of what your father did, having you guys grow up, you and your brother Carlos, and just being around baseball. What first drew you to baseball? Were you just young and hard at it as a kid, and it's just something you've always loved, or was it something you fell in love with as you got older?
No, since I was little, my dad would tell me I was like always running around the house with a bat and all that. And obviously, having an older brother playing baseball, obviously he like got me into the game, falling in love with the game. I started playing since I was 4, so basically that's the only sport I have played because my dad didn't want us to play any other sports because we could have gotten injured and all that. So the only sport we played growing up was baseball. So it's the sport that that I fell in love since I was little, and like that's why I worked so hard and everything. Trying to reach the goal I have.
So I know you said you've played all over the place before the show, and I know you played at Alvin Community College, and then I got one of my masters through Lamar University. That's where you're drafted by the Astros. What was that day like? I mean, I always like to ask the prospects that. Where were you when you found out that you were drafted by the Houston Astros? And at that time, it had to be really special because Carlos was a member of the Astros at the time.
Yeah, well, in 2018 was the first time I got drafted by the Astros. I was actually in Alaska, Anchorage, Alaska, playing with the Anchorage Bucks there. And Carlos was the actually first person to call me because the Astros wanted him to call me and tell me that I was being drafted by them. I was in practice, and when I got off practice, I looked at my phone and I saw a missed call by him, so I called him back. And he's like, "Hey, congrats, brother! You have been drafted by the Astros." I'm like, "Why are you calling me? Like, why are you the one calling me?" And he's like, "Oh, they wanted me to be the one who called you and tell you this." And I was obviously super excited and all that for those news. Obviously, like growing up, I never had the chance to play with Carlos, so it gave me like a good feeling that one day I could play with him. But obviously, that was not the route I was looking into, and decided to go to Lamar University and go to the D1.
But even if you don't get to quote unquote play with him on the same team, once you get to the big leagues, because that's the goal, just to be able to play brother against brother. I mean, that's always a special moment in Major
Oh
League
yeah, oh
Baseball.
yeah, for sure.
And we see that with who was it? Phil Matan and his brother squared off against each other, and you have brothers a lot of times. And to me, that's exciting to see. Especially, it's got to be exciting as a parent for your parents to watch this, to watch y'all grow up. And what was it about the move to catcher that maybe you like really sunk your teeth into? You really like took a hold of it? Because I would think sometimes players might take it maybe not as an ego hit, but like, why do you want me to catch? Like, I'm not a catcher. What was it about the catching position that really drew you to it to invest time and energy? Because apparently you've done a really good job so far.
Yeah, I have always been positive. I took it the right way. I was like, if that's what's going to take me to the next level, I will do it. And I took it the right way. I just talked to my dad, and I was like, hey, I need to find the right people to work this off season, get ready, because I only have three months and a half to get ready before spring training starts. So that's what we did. Obviously, to learn to catch in 3 months, it's hard, especially that making that transition in Pro Bowl where guys are throwing 95, 96 with movement. It's something hard, but I adapted real quick. I feel like if you take those first 2 months off, I did a pretty good job, obviously. And the good thing about me is that I can play multiple positions. It's not that I can only catch. I can play good shortstop, good second base, good third base, first base. I have played 3 games in left field too. So whatever the team needs me, I know I can do a great job, no matter what position it is.
Well, I know that you've already had to make a couple, like one big hard decision, like turning down the Astros and going play for Lamar. But the Astros wanted you again because they drafted you in the 38th round in 2019 to come play with them again, and you went ahead and signed with them. So far in your young professional career, what's been your biggest challenge so far?
My biggest challenge, I would say, is I don't know, maybe get like recognition that I deserve. I feel like with the stat I have put in college, summer ball, my first 2 pro years, I feel like I don't get the recognition I deserve. So I feel like that's been the hardest challenge for me. Like I feel like I've done everything I can, but obviously, like that gives me motivation to keep going, keep working hard, and obviously keep doing good and help the team win. And I'm that type of player. I'm a good leader, and I'll do anything to make my teammates better, help the team win, and that's me. I will keep playing the game hard always.
And I think too that's a huge bonus for you because that's what I call an intangible. That's when when players are evaluated by the clubs, they don't. I mean, yes, they look at the stats, right? I mean, if you're not producing at the plate, which you have an amazing slash line, and we will talk about that in the second segment. But I love your perspective because young athletes always feel like, well, if I'm not the best, if I'm not the name being talked about, then what am I going to do? And almost every minor leaguer we've talked to at this point with the Houston Astros, they all were maybe a D2 guy, maybe under the radar guy. They weren't on everybody's draft board, but yet it's something about the work ethic that each player's brought to this minor league system. And if we're talking about what players bring to the table, if you are a sports bettor and you like Super Bowl stuff, you need to go to FanDuel.com. The Super Bowl party won't be the same without FanDuel. It's America's #1 sports book. We're really excited about our new sports betting partner for Locked On because they're the #1 sports book in America, FanDuel. And if you are new to FanDuel, that's even better. They have so many great features that make betting on sports fun and easy. Download FanDuel today so you can bet Super Bowl 57 with a no sweat first bet. You'll get up to $3,000 back on bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. That's right, you lose, you win. That's weird. That's really cool though. FanDuel lets you bet on everything from the money line to point spread to who will score a touchdown. I mean, will someone put in a bet that someone's going to storm the field from the stands? And could that guy that places that bet be you? But anyways, I'm not encouraging you to jump on the field during the Super Bowl, but I'm sure FanDuel Sportsbook has all kinds of cool stuff. And not only that, they have an app that is safe, secure, and super easy to use. And you can get paid instantly with your winnings. So join FanDuel today at FanDuel.com/locked on to claim your no sweat first bet on Super Bowl 57. That's FanDuel.com/locked on. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
All right. So this is a great interview so far, JC. I really like your insight of becoming a catcher so far. And I know that one of the things that a lot of the Astros top prospects get a chance to do is play in the Arizona Fall League to get more experience to kind of make that next jump. And so what was that experience like getting to not just play with Astros prospects, but just people from across the league?
It was a great experience actually playing with so many talented guys, big prospects for like different organizations, and playing against like big prospects too. You know, it was a great experience, especially winning that championship. For me, I met so many nice people, so many players, and obviously, I'm the player that I will ask questions. You know, if I like something like a word that I see from a guy hitting, fielding, whatever it is, I will ask questions. So obviously, I took some tips from guys and all that. So it was a great experience. Great coaching staff too. Like I learned a lot, and it was a great experience. I was super excited when they told me I was going to the fall league.
Yeah, that's a huge thing because there's been some big names roll through there, and I know that's definitely one of the leagues, one of the minor league games, or that I would love to be a part of. I would love to go see that live in person. But since being drafted with the Astros, I mean, your slash line, your I put together your batting average, slugging, and OPS. You've got a 310, 455, and 821. I mean, this is good stuff. Like you've hit over 300 every year that you've been with the Astros. So I want to ask you this: who has been the person that you feel has helped you become such a reliable at bat? Is there a coach right now in the Astros system? Was it someone in college? Was it your dad? Who was it that's been instrumental in getting you to the place where you are as a professional hitter?
My dad has always been my hitting coach. Obviously, I like to listen to everyone. You know, this season I was in high A the whole year. I had the chance to work with Rene Rojas. He was a hitting coach for Albert Pujols too. Great hitting coach. I'm the player that I will talk to the hitting coach and tell him like what I like to work on, what I like to feel, and if he sees something wrong, to tell me to get back on track. You know, so that's me as a player. I communicate with my hitting coach what I like to do, my approach, what I like to think, and obviously I let him know, and he works with me to make me feel comfortable, be ready for the game. And also, I have my dad. Like after games, I will send him the videos. He will take a look at it, and he will tell me like if he sees something off, if I need to do a drill, and all that. Then that's what I do. I work with my dad, and also with the hitting coach of the affiliate I'm with. I work with the hitting coach.
The stat that really stands out to me is in your career in the minor league so far, you have 95 strikeouts, but you do have 72 walks. Last year in Asheville, you had 37 walks, 36 strikeouts. That's really impressive. That you do you feel like you have a good eye at the plate and you know how to take pitches and draw the walks?
Yeah, I feel like I have a great eye. Also, like people want me to take more walks, but I feel like I have such a high contact barrel, like
Right.
both bat to ball, that for me it's hard to walk. Like if I swing first pitch, I'm probably making contact. If I swing at a two strike, I'm probably making contact. So for me it's hard to get walks, especially also when umpires are not as great as they are in the big leagues. For me, like I don't like to strike out looking. I will try to swing my bat. I would rather strike out swinging than looking. So, but yeah, I make a bigger play discipline this year. Try to be more passive, trust my eye, and just try to swing at better pitches.
Yeah, and that's really what I think some of the first things that people really talk about. Bregman is a very low strikeout guy. David Hensley, in his small sample size, has already been labeled a guy who's plate discipline, and plate discipline is huge, especially like you said with the high contact rate. I mean, you're like, okay, I want to swing. Why do I want to swing? Because I want to hit the ball. I want to get on base, and so you want to be active. What role? Because I know your father and your mother have been instrumental in years in your brother's life, but what role has your brother played in your life growing up and just being a part? I know y'all probably as brothers had like rivalries growing up. What is something maybe you can tell us that y'all used to compete in that was always fun? Your brother's like, let's go, like
We'll
you
be
know.
always competitive. Like when we will run, I will be honest here. I will throw Carlos here. He doesn't like to run. When he was growing up, he didn't like to run. So my dad will make me obviously like running my hardest to beat him, so he could run and get better and faster. So things like that. Like I feel like having a little brother like me that will be competitive, it help him get better and right where he is. And also we're always competitive. Competitive. We'll box a little bit at home, play wrestling match. We have always been competitive. Play ping pong. Like always, even in video games, we since growing up, like always been competitive, and that's how we are.
Yeah. So, how much did y'all actually get a chance? I'm not sure the exact age difference, but did y'all get a chance to play a lot in actual games together, or was it just more pickup games together? Um,
No, we didn't. We growing up, we didn't play any games together because in Puerto Rico it's two different age difference to
right.
play together. So we are 4 years apart. We didn't have the chance to play together. And obviously, like I just look up to Carlos. If I have a questions now that I play pro baseball, I just go to him. Because he went through every level like I'm doing. So if I feel like I have a question or something's bothering me, I just talk to him and ask him the question. And it's good to have someone like him that I
Right.
can just go whenever and talk to him.
Oh yeah, and I guarantee there's a ton of people on here that right now would love to have Carlos Correa as their big brother just to be able to talk to you about baseball and get advice, and especially to hear that from two athletes and two athletes that are excelling at something that you love to do. What is it that you're focusing on for 2023? What do you like? Do you have personal goals? Do you look at stats? What is your focus going into this season?
Well, if I'm honest with you, every year before I start the season, I write a paper down and I put it on like on the mirror on the bedroom, like of what I want my stats to be or like get close to them. So my year this my goal this year on offense wise is like hit over 300 again, hit more homers at least 15, have an OPS more than 900, and then obviously at catching is get better, like be the best catcher at framing when I compete against the other teams, like because we get the net K after every game, so I just want to have a better net K than the other catcher that I'm playing against with. So that's my goal, just keep getting better at catching. That pitchers feel comfortable pitching to me. Be better at calling games, throwing people out, blocking. Like just be a better catcher overall, and obviously keep my hitting. But obviously, I want to do better stats on OPS and home runs.
Speaking of which, I've noticed that there's a trend of catchers kind of catching on one knee, and it's a little bit harder to get up and throw a runner out when you're on one knee. How do you receive a ball, and are you pretty quick at getting the ball to second base?
My transfer is pretty good since I was an infielder. Like the transfer, like getting the ball out of the glove is for me is super quick. And yeah, it's a little harder to get up with one knee down, but that's something I worked this off season. A lot of weight and obviously a lot of reps trying to get as fast as I can up and start that move towards second base. So I feel like I had a lot of like bang bang plays on second last year. So I feel like with everything I worked this year, those bang plays can be I can throw more runners out this year.
So basically, what you're working on is your pop time, and
Yeah.
you're looking at that. Do you think having played multiple positions helps you as a catcher athletically? Because if you're just hunched down behind the plate every single game, that takes a toll on your knees. I mean, I played catcher growing up. I didn't play at a high level. I mean, I played till I was 16. That was my absolute favorite position. You know, I loved it because we actually guys actually tried to run you over at home plate. And I remember getting mowed over by a kid. I held onto the ball, and he got ejected, and I had tagged him out because he didn't attempt to slide. But does playing those multiple positions and being a multifaceted, I guess, utility type player, does that help you behind the plate in your quickness and your speed?
Yeah, I feel like yeah, it helped me, especially on the framing part since infielders have like what we call soft hands. I feel like that's why my framing was okay my first months and then it was better. And I feel like this year is even better because as an infielder you have soft hands and all that.
Right.
Like I say, my transfer was quick because I'm always doing double plays and all that. So there is the pros and for like making the transition to catching. Also, like I heard that you got hit as a catcher. I don't know if you saw the video. Like literally the third week of the season, probably I was playing in Jersey Shore. I got like run over by a guy, and he didn't have the intentions to slide either. He just went shoulder helmet right to my mask and everything, and Jersey Shore. But I'm a strong person. I don't like to be taking up the game. So I told my manager like, no, I will keep playing, and I didn't miss any games. Thank God. Obviously, it could be worse, but God was with me there, and it was too serious.
Yeah, definitely. Mr. Corona, this guy is a regular, and I know that he loves having you on here. He's a big Astros fan. He says, I wonder what JC's favorite place to eat when the minor league team is on the road.
Well, since there was a lot of Latin players on my team this year, we will go to Chipotle if we have one close to a hotel. We will probably walk like 12 minutes to get to Chipotle, and we will go to Chipotle. That's like I feel like that's 70% of the minor league players' favorite fast food place, Chipotle.
Okay. Oh, maybe there should be a corporate sponsorship that hey, maybe you need to get a sponsorship deal with that, JC.
Yeah, if I get it, I will be happy with that. I will do whatever they need me to do.
That's awesome.
So I know a lot of people have like players like Derek Jeter, or I don't know, my idol growing up was Jeff Bagwell. Did you have a player that you like idolized as a young player or young kid growing up?
Yeah, I will probably hurt Astros fans. Can I say it?
Sure, go ahead.
Albert Pujols.
All right, where's the mute button? Where's the mute button? There it is.
JC, I was at that game where he hit that home run that was so painful to watch. Eric was there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I tell you growing up I was hit like him, I will like go with that like with my bat. Like that's why I use number 5, and like growing up even in college I use number 5 because Pujols for me is my favorite player and I look up to him on the field and off the field. He's a great person, great player, and he does a lot for the community too.
Well, I know that he is. I mean, he's a great example for a lot of the Latin players, but just in general, like you said, I mean, off the field, the dude does so much charitable work, and just really, he's the guy you love to hate as a competitor, but he's a guy that to me is hard to hate off the field when he's not wearing that
Yeah.
that Cardinals uniform. Um, when you look at the Astros, history where they are, right now compared to where they were, where they've been. I mean, they have kind of a tumultuous history, and then all of a sudden you got these last 6 years where it's all winning. How exciting is it to be in an organization that that they still project out to 2028, like the winning to continue, and that you have a chance to be a part of something big like that?
Well, I'm happy to be part of the Astros organization, such a Class A organization, obviously very competitive too. And I feel like the Astros have a dynasty now. I don't know if like people have said it before, but I feel like what the Astros have right now is a dynasty. And like I know probably in the minor league ranks we are like 20 something, but I'm telling you, we have so many great talents in the minor leagues, like from pitchers to outfielders, like infielders, catching. We have so many great players, that I know for sure they will play in the big leagues. Like so many players that are so good that I ask myself like how we are ranked 20 something when I see these players on spring training. I play with them and I know the stats from the guys.
Yes, I know we had Jason Bell on the podcast yesterday. It's going to be showing tomorrow on at 8:30, but he kind of mentioned that as well. And I just want to mention, JC, why we don't like Albert Pujols. He has against the Houston Astros 62 career home runs against us, 179 RBIs in the careers against the Houston Astros, both career highs against any other team in baseball. So that's why we do not like Albert
Nah,
Pujols.
yeah, I guess the Astros. That guy was a beast. He was something else against the Astros. That's why I say, can I say, because I know
Yeah.
like
Oh,
as
yeah.
an Astros fan, it hurts to hear that name, or it's
Yeah.
scary
No, and
probably, because that guy did so much damage to the Astros in playoffs, regular season, everywhere.
And I think everybody though, even though they may be like, "Oh no," I'm sure they respect it just because you've earned that respect being the prospect that you are. But being at that game, like, let's just be honest. Had we taken care of David Eckstein and had he not got on base, we wouldn't have had to face Albert Pujols, and things might think. I was like, I'm going to be at the game where we clinched. But JC, I got redemption this year. I had my 14-year-old son with me at Game 6 when we locked up the World Series at home, and so I felt that was the ultimate turn of events.
Yeah, that Alvarez
So
home run was something else.
yeah, so Mark Drew, our producer, says Albert Pujols is to the Astros what Jose Altuve is to the Yankees.
To the Yankees, exactly. Yeah, like if I was getting an interview with a Yankees fan, like yeah, Altuve will be the nightmare for them.
There you go. That's
Uh,
right.
I'm I'm pretty sure Yankees fans would not be interviewing you, JC. If you play for the Houston
Yeah,
Astros, they would not be interviewing you.
yeah.
um, but I want you to just kind of tell us something as an up and coming player, or something that maybe there's a lot of young people that watch our podcast. I remember there's this boy that I can't remember his name at the moment, but he found me in the Crawford boxes, and he came up and said, "Oh, I watch your podcast all the time." I know he plays baseball. There's a lot of young kids that watch our podcast that are trying to make it to where you are. What are some inspiring words that you have for them on making it, helping them reach their goals and their dreams?
Well, yeah, just yourself, know the talent you have. Like, there will be people that will tell you you cannot do it. I heard a lot of things like that from people, but I know the talent I have, and as long as you work hard, have dedication, be a leader, play the game hard, respect the game, everything will be fine. Probably you won't get drafted out of high school, but if you have good grades, that's the most important thing. Have good grades, you can go to a college, get better, physically, mentally, just get a better all the way around, and just everything will play well. Just you just gotta work hard, be a leader, play the game, respect the game. Obviously, appreciate the time from your parents taking you guys to the field, to training, and all that, and put God first in your life, and everything will be good. Like that's my advice for any player. There will be negative stuff. There will be obstacles, and it's just you'll get knocked down. It's just how you get up. Just the mentality you have.
Yeah, that
Um,
yeah.
that's great. That's great inspiration there, JC. And I have one question.
Yeah,
Have you ever done a bat flip?
a bat flip. Can I be honest with you? I did kind of won this year, but it was like a 430 homer, like feet homer. So that's the only one. But I don't like to bat flip because like I know how pitchers get and all that, and I'm the player that I respect the game so much that I don't want to get injured by a hit by pitch or something. So for me, I will just hit the ball, put my face down, start jogging. That's it. Because I don't want to get injured by a hit by pitch in the hand or face or something.
Hey, you know
But
what?
I wish the game would change. I wish like in any other sport like NFL, you get a touchdown, you see guys dancing. In NBA, they dunk over someone a poster and they're like screaming at the guy's face and all that. Nothing happened. In baseball, you just bat flip and everybody wants to hear you and all that. Like I want that to change in the game of baseball. And let enjoy people when people hit a homer.
Exactly. And I mean, there are some other questions that we could ask. We could wrap up for our audio audience, but I just want to know, JC, would you be willing to stay on for an extra 10 or 15 minutes? Because I want to ask you about some of the rule changes and what that's doing to your catching game and stuff like that. Would you mind hanging on for a little bit
No,
longer?
yeah, for sure, for sure.
All right, Eric, you want to close us out for the audio side?
Sure. So, guys, thank you for listening to Locked On Astros podcast. JC, thank you once again for joining us. Where can they find you on Twitter?
JC underscore Correa 1 and JC underscore Correa 5 on Instagram.
All right, so guys, go check him out. Hopefully, we can see him in Minute Maid Park at near future. And good luck in your career. And guys, we're going to go and close out the audio version of this. If you'd like to continue conversation, make sure you go and subscribe to us on YouTube and go ahead and listen to the rest of this and make us your first listen every day. And thank you. You can go and continue. And make your second listen the Locked On MLB Prospects. Host Lindsey Crosby is a prospect encyclopedia, and he's going deep on the MLB stars. So tomorrow, it's free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Okay, so I know that there's going to be a lot of rule changes coming to Major League Baseball. One of the things that I think is a little bit weird, I know we're probably going to talk pitch clock in a little bit, but the enlarged first base. What are your thoughts about that, JC?
I love it. I feel like this year I didn't see any collisions at first base with like pitchers scoring first base. I didn't see guys stepping on first basemen. I feel like it's good also for the base runner, guys that are like run super fast. Sometimes they miss the bag or something, they get injured, turn their ankle. I feel like with the bigger bags, like there is more safety for the base runners and for the pitchers and first baseman. So I feel like for me at least, I like that. Like the bigger bags are good, are very safe for every player.
JC approved.
Yeah, definitely. And every player I think has a different perspective. I'm going to ask you one from Mr. Corona again. He says, do you wish to play with Jose Altuve at some point before he finishes his career? Is that something that you would really like to do?
Of course, he's a legend in baseball. I think one of the best second base in MLB history. So obviously it will be great to play with such a great guy and player like him. I have met him before. I've hit with him the past weeks with him at Minute Maid. Great guy. So I would love to play with him. No matter the position, I would love to have the chance to play with him on the field.
Yeah, I think everybody would like that. Now, Eric had mentioned the base change, and I know there's a pickoff move change, and that comes into the pitch clock. Okay, the pitch clock now is set up to where a pitcher can reset the clock, I believe, twice per batter, but they can't do that a third time. But you now have a pitch clock to where, from your perspective, you've got to get a pitch delivered. The pitcher has to start his windup by the time the clock expires. What does that do for you planning your game plan? Does it make it more difficult? You just have to be more meticulous with the details.
Yeah, when there is no one on base, even though if the pitcher step off the mound, the pitch clock will keep going. Like it only resets when there's runners on base. But as a catcher, you just gotta be more focused and knowing who is coming up to bat, who is up next. At least me, late in the season, I knew the three guys that were coming up. so I didn't have to look at the scout report because I feel like that will take time of me, especially like it's 15 seconds. But when you look down and you're giving the signs, the time goes by so fast that when the pitcher say yes, there is like 5 seconds left, you know?
Wow.
And there is some pitchers that they like to take their time, and sometimes when there was runners on base, I will have to call time. That always a pickup for them because there was like 2 seconds left, and if they don't throw the pitch, it will be a ball. But for me especially, I like it because games go by faster, and there is no like 4 hours long games and all that. Everything. The longest game I played this year was like 3 hours and 20 minutes. I would say.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah,
interesting. I
yeah.
know that's where baseball wants to go. They want to go to the shorter games. But another thing that they're trying to look for is like banning the shift. I mean, you can still kind of move around, but you can't go past second base. As a former infielder, how do you think that's going to really affect the defense overall?
It won't affect the defense. Obviously, we'll be able to see more diving plays than what we have seen the past years. But the shift will keep going. Like position players will start right at second. As soon as the pitcher is delivering the pitch, they'll probably jump over to that side. Like that's how like they will do it. I feel like. But if not, then the hitter will have to make adjustments. Because at least me, if I see the guys playing me shift, I will control my barrel to hit it the other way. Like the infielders at me, like at least to me, they didn't shift me because I would just hit the ball whatever I felt like I could hit it to.
So we have a question here from Harley David, and he just comes out and asks, "Do you have a cannon like your brother?" We talked about the arm that
Carlos
Carlos has.
Cannon is something special. I have a good arm, but Carlos' arm is something crazy. Like it's special. It's a special one. So answering the question, no, I don't have Carlos' arm, but I have a good one. Like if you compare me to other catchers, I'm there. I'm up there. But compared to Carlos, not even close.
Now, a
He
couple of
throws
years
a
ago,
hundred. He throws 100. He can throw 100.
yeah, oh, I know,
Yeah.
and like, of course, people have fantasized about him possibly taking the mound at some point. Like, no, we don't want to do that. We want to keep him healthy when he was
Yeah.
here. But let me ask you this, because we had Lance McCullers on a couple seasons ago, and he basically said he could take Carlos in a UFC fight because he's got ground, like he's shorter. If you and your brother were to get into the octagon, who would win? I mean, JC, don't be humble
Well,
here. Who would win, you or Carlos?
I'll be honest. I'm always honest. So I will say him because he have taken UFC classes, so he probably knows more than me. But if we are talking about power, like and all that, I will say I will beat him. Like wrestling, I can probably beat him because I'm stronger than him. I'm more built. But like if it's a UFC fight that he can do like whatever they call it on the floor, like that they break arms. He knows how to do those things, so he will probably beat me.
That's awesome. Eric, read this next question for us from Jamal.
JC said, JC, what's the most important part of your game? What is the most important part of your game, and what will make you get major league ready on the major league roster? Sorry.
Well, for me, I feel like the most important part for me is just be ready every day. Because when I get to a field, I don't know what position I'm playing that day. So I gotta be locked in. The first thing I do when I get to a locker room is look at the lineup, look what position I'm playing that day, and get locked in to play that position. But this year, there was multiple times that I was playing at second. The catcher will get injured, and I will have to get ready to catch. So to change that scenario so quick and get ready to be a catcher out of nowhere. Like I feel like I did a pretty good job of that. Like I can adapt to something real quick. So I feel like that's something good I have. And for me, that's the most important part. Just be locked in, whatever the manager needs me, and just do a good job.
Who has been some of the favorite guys that you've been on the same team with? Were you on the same team with, like, with Joey Luperfido or
Yeah.
Quentin
Joey
Hamilton?
Loperfido started in Fayetteville this year, and he finished up with me. Great lefty hitter, great contact, great dude overall. He has the five tools. I feel super fast guy. I also had the chance to play with Will Wagner. Also great hitter, great play discipline. I feel like if he's not the best lefty hitter, and like one of the best minor league hitters, lefty, I'll put him in the top 10
Wow.
in the whole minor leagues. Like
Yeah.
great contact power, great play discipline. Uh, had the chance to play with Barry Hill the past year, not this past year, like in 2021 in Fayetteville. Shea Wickham, like I have played with so many good players. Kennedy Corona had a great year this season.
Okay, good
That's a
deal.
cool list.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love those names, and I know Wagner has been on everybody's radar. One minor league person told me they saw Lou Perfito jumping all the way to AAA this year, possibly. And so Harley David also asked us. Now this is a great question. He says, "Are you trying to catch the ball, catch the foul tips off the mask like Maldi does?" I don't know if you see what Maldi does
Oh,
sometimes. This guy catches stuff that I don't even know how he catches them.
no. Like it's something that I try not to get hit. You know, I don't like foul tips. There was one time that I was catching, obviously. Foul ball hit me on the mask and I fell on my butt, like literally. Like the ball came so fast at me that the umpire, like literally, and you get a little ring on your ears and all that. So it's not fun getting foul tips on the mask.
Yeah, you're not your typical catcher size. No offense, but you're typically catchers are normally a little bit bigger. So that's you're probably a little bit more athletic than typical catchers, 6 feet. So that's pretty cool. So how what do you see your time frame like? Where do you see yourself playing this year? I mean, I know the Astros kind of set that, but what are your goals of where do you see yourself getting to this year? Double A, triple A?
If it's for me, the way I have prepared this year is big league, but obviously I don't have control of that. I can control my game and all that. So it's just being ready. Whatever they need me to
Okay,
play, I'm ready and
good answer.
just put great stats. You know, like I feel like I will keep doing a great job like I have, keep being the leader, help the team win, and whenever they feel like I'm ready, I'm ready. You know, mentally, physically, whatever they need me, I'm ready to go.
And I think too that that's key because, and then I want to get to this next question from Mr. Corona. But I remember, I believe it was Pete Solomon told me one time, he goes, "I'm a starting pitcher, but if they want me on the major league roster as a relief pitcher, I would rather be a major league reliever than a AAA starter." And it sounds like with this catching, you're like, I would rather be more versatile and I would rather have more of a skill set than just one position. That's going to get me from point A to point B. And with that said, with all this athleticism talk, Mr. Corona wants to know, aside from baseball, what is your favorite sport?
My favorite sport, I would say, like for me to play that I'm good at is ping pong. I feel like I know people probably don't like ping pong, but for me, playing it, that's the second best sport I can be at. Watching it will be basketball and NFL.
Okay. I like that. So we'll have to I'm going to be down there at spring training. I'm trying to hit up all the Astros players and people we interview. If we can find a ping pong table, we're going to have to square off. How's that sound?
Are you good at it? Because if not, I don't want to waste my time playing with you. No,
I am.
I'm kidding.
Brett just
Hey,
got schooled.
You know what? This is going out to all of America. I'm pretty confident. I may be a little rusty, but if I get my backspin going, I don't know. You might not want to
In
tangle with me.
Asheville, I was the whole year in Asheville. We had a ping pong table in the locker room. I only lost 2 games in the whole year, and I play I would say like 700 games during season.
Well, hey, what's in it for me is if I beat you, I can say I beat JC Correa. If I get beat by you, I can say I got beat
I
by
got
JC
beat by
Correa.
JC Correa, so
So it's a
you're
win-win for
winning
me.
both ways. You don't lose. You're winning both ways.
So we'll do that. You need to find a ping pong table. Hit me up on Twitter on DM. Let me know where the ping pong table is. We'll meet. I'll have like my gear on and we'll go at it.
Sounds good. If not, we go to an academy or something and just play on the ping pong tables they have there.
Be like, this is JC Correa. Get the ping pong table down now.
Yeah, we have a bet going on.
I'm sure there's bars in Florida that have ping pong tables. So
we'll do it, man. I'm all ready. I just got to get my knee better, and we'll good to go. And
thanks for telling me that. I will make you run now, side to side.
yeah, just go side to side.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Alrighty. Well, JC, thank you for joining us. This was a great podcast. Thank you. You're welcome to come on whenever you want to. And this was a blast. Great having insight into not just you, but just some of the minor leaguers and everything. So, Brett, you got anything else?
No, I just want to echo that sentiment. Just love having you on. Love that we were able to connect. And I know that our fans, our listeners, our viewers love having the players on, and for you to share with such candor and just being as real as you are. I know if people weren't a fan of you, if they didn't know about you before, now they are, and you're going to be on a lot more people's radar. And so we just wish you all the best this year. And hopefully it's not too long before we see you in Sugarland and then at Minute Maid Park.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. Great podcast, the one you guys have going on. Appreciate you guys having me, and thank you everyone watching. Have a great day and have a good night, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's all we got. And we'll see you next time on the Locked On Astros podcast. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube and make sure you make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you check out you get your podcast. Check us out. And that's all we got. And we'll see you next time. And go Astros.